Lianne here. I hope you're healthy and your family's doing well. A lot has happened over the last couple of weeks, and each day it seems that there's more in the news. So hopefully you're at home, you're safe, your family is, and you might be thinking, what's next? You might be even very fearful of your job and your financial prospects, whether it be your investments going down, your business, sales, maybe you've had to close, maybe you've been laid off temporary or longer term and so most of us are in some way affected financially, obviously, as well as health wise by this pandemic. And so I wanted to share some thoughts and some ideas to help you with that at this time. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about kind of the four main ingredients, if you will, to help you thrive at this time, even if you are going through major shutdowns or different things in your life that you're really worried about. And I just want to start by telling you a little bit about my story. 10 years ago, or even 12 years ago, the market crashed. My finances, my savings, and my husband's savings took quite a hit like everyone else. And also I was a sole breadwinner in the family, and my consulting business started to tank as well. And I'd also just lost my father, and then in the middle of that, my husband was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So we started for 18 months trying to fight that, and he ended up succumbing to cancer, and I was left alone with two kids. So it was like I'd gone through a war zone, which probably some of you are starting to feel that way right now, as we're being hit and bombarded by so many different things. And so what I learned from that process was that not only can we survive, but that we can actually come out the other end stronger and even improve our lives. Because with any crisis, there's an opportunity for us to change. And so that's some of the things I wanted to talk to you a little bit, like how do we do that? How do we actually go from first surviving, whether it be financially or health or whatever, but in particular I want to talk about the financial side, and then how do we then go beyond that to thriving. So what I found in kind of one of my darkest moments was when I had closed my business, and I was alone after the death of my husband. I had kind of a vision that said, maybe I have an opportunity here. It was kind of like I have an opportunity to redesign my life at 44, because I had no work. I didn't have a partner to kind of say we had to go one way or the other, and my kids were young enough that I could do anything. Go travel with them or whatnot. So I decided that maybe there was a gift within what seemed like a crappy situation, just like all of us have that right now. And we're starting to see some of the gifts that are coming from it, being at home, being closer to family, slowing down our lives. There's so many gifts from this if we can see that. So that brings me to really one of the first steps in moving from, this very difficult time to surviving and then to thriving. And it really relates to mindset. When we can shift our mindset out of fear and out of panic and doubt and kind of almost going within that self-preservation mode, which is very natural, and we feel that. But if we can move beyond it and see a bigger picture of what could be possible for ourselves and see that there may be some purpose in all of this. Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, was in a concentration camp. He was separated from his wife, and he was a psychiatrist, and he decided to use his time in the concentration camp to help him take his mind off the horrors of what he was experiencing. And so he started studying, like he would have in his practice, what were the traits of people who were really resilient in this state and in such a horrific time. And he recognized that over the time was that there was one main thing that differentiated people who were resilient and those who were not. And that was that they found a purpose within what they were going through. And he said there was basically three types of purposes. So the first one was personal purpose. So for him, it was what kept him alive, what kept him going against all odds, was that he wanted to see his wife again. That was his purpose in staying the course. The second one was interpersonal. So it could be that he saw people in the camp that wanted to help somebody else. They really felt that they could do whatever and kind of be that hero to help somebody else that was going through something difficult or who was dying. And then the third one was more of a societal. So there's this idea that if I can get through this, if I can tell my story, I might be able to change things for the future so it won't happen again. And so that's the same thing for us right now. If we can find some purpose for ourselves, whether it be personal, interpersonal, or societal, it can really help us to go beyond this and actually survive it and thrive. So it's to look at that for yourself, and it's really that mind shift from, oh my God, what's going to happen, to what could be the purpose, what can I take from this? And so that's the first part. The second part is then to start to do some self-discovery. We can learn a lot about ourselves in the midst of a very difficult crisis time. And we can learn a little bit about our shadow and what are the things that need to be healing, what comes to the surface of the fear, the doubt, all those things. But also, what are some of the things that make us come alive, coming back together in family, spending time, quieting, slowing down, all those things are, like I said, some of the gifts, but it also helps us to see what are the things I like to do, what are the things I forgot that I like to do. And so that self-discovery of what am I passionate about? A lot of people are slowing down for the first time in sometimes decades. And that's kind of what happened to me at 44. I'd gone from a super uber career and then starting a business, then starting a family, and then just crash. And everything slowed down. And I had 3 months where I did nothing. And it was like so awakening for me, because I started to really tap into who I was, why I was here, what was important to me. And so this is the opportunity that's presenting to all of us. Again, it's like one of these things that never end in our life. Just because we've gone through a difficult time, for me anyways, once, doesn't mean that I can't get more opportunities from this crisis as well. So the third thing is really then to start to look at all the things we're discovering about ourselves, what we want to let go of and what we want to bring more in. And also then to say, what is a vision? What is a new vision for my life, for my work? And how can I then, the fourth thing is, how can I start to bring that into the world? And what are the steps that I need to take to start that? So for me, I realized that I wanted to shift my career. I wanted to go from a consultant in business to do something that was very meaningful to me, and really to help others to find their deeper purpose, to live consciously, to start businesses that were really about helping people, to look at leadership from a different perspective, where it was really about self-leadership, helping the individual empower themselves. And so that was a wonderful opportunity for me to make a shift based on the experience that I had and the training, but the passion that was really deep inside of me. And then at that time was able to start to plan, what are the steps I need to do, what are the people I need that will help me, what are the resources that I need, what things do I need to learn. And when I put all that together, I was able to take a few steps, and I called it leaning into it, where I would take a step forward in a new direction, something that I imagined that would be working, and then I would be able to kind of step back and look to see, is it working, is it not? Rather than what some people think, you invest a whole bunch of money in a new direction and you plan for a year. I found that by just leaning in, I could evaluate pretty quickly without a lot of risk whether it was the right direction or needed adjustment. And so the last piece that was really important for me was community. And so this is for all of us. And in this idea of social distancing, I want to change that word to physical distancing. We really need to be socially connected right now more than ever, right? We need the support. And I know when I was going through grief and my difficult time, was my community that really helped me. But then what I recognized, it was when I was starting to give back and serving that community in the way, whatever was, for me and for you, whatever's the unique way. It's that idea of Viktor Frankl said, when we can find purpose, whether within for ourselves or interpersonally or society, then really we actually start to come alive, and we start to move beyond the fear, and we start to get in a more creative mode. And so being in community and being able to share and being able to brainstorm and be able to share wisdom and so forth and support each other, inspire each other, is ultimately so important. So that's why I've created a 4-week donation-based online program to help bring people together to really foster community and foster the sharing of wisdom around this idea of, what's next? What's next for you in terms of your work, your career, your business? How do you survive and even go beyond that and thrive? To take this time, this kind of pause button that we've been given to really reflect and go within and be able to come out of it in a way that you probably never imagined was possible without this. So all the details are below. We're starting on March 30th, and every Monday morning we're meeting, and I'll be interviewing experts in the field, and we'll be talking. It'll be live interviews, and then on Wednesday around 1 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be leading different types of meditations and mindfulness practices, and also doing some small groups. So I'll take people and we break out into smaller groups and have some discussions, really get into what are the things that are really on your mind, what are the things we need to be answering right now. And then the third thing we'll be doing each week is on Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be leading a lesson around the themes, the 4 themes I talked about, which is first about cultivating a good mindset to really help us to create solutions in our lives, because without that mindset, we just get into a spiral. And secondly, to do that self-discovery so we can start to understand a little bit more about ourselves and what's possible and what we really want, tapping deeper into ourselves. And then third, to create that new vision for our life and our work. And then fourth, to lay out practical steps for us to start to move in that direction really quickly. It's not going to take a long time. 4 weeks, we're thinking about in kind of the middle to end of April, we'll be done, and we'll be in a great position for you to really move forward in your life and to ease that anxiety and recognize that this was actually a time for you to be able to do a reset in your life, like I was in mine. So if you're interested, all the information's below. And you also may be interested in my book, Love Will Keep Us Alive, is the journey of awakening through heartbreaking loss and the alchemy of love. And this is my personal story. I welcome you to read it and share it. It really, many people have said to me that it was very inspiring. They couldn't put it down, and it helped them to see a broader perspective of what's happening. And it might help you in the same way to realize that this is all not happening to us as victims, but we can become victors over what's happening in our lives. And so I hope you'll join us. And if you can't join us, please share this video, the links. I'm sure there's some people in your network that could really benefit from this by donation online program. All right. So, and if you can't afford it and you want to take it for free, that's perfectly fine with me as well. So I just hope you'll be on there and I can help you in some way. Thank you so much, and namaste.